Hello, this is Mr. Evilcheese, and this is my top 10 Star Wars Black Series 6-inch figures video. Top 10 best figures. It was really hard picking which 10 and also putting them in order. That was really difficult. I kept switching them around. Very tough deciding the order. So if you're like, how could you put that one character in front of that other character? Well, yeah, maybe you're right, because it was really hard to pick which ones I liked better and which ones I thought were better, but I tried. These are basically my favorites in order, as best as I can do from number 10 to number 1 best. So while editing this video, I decided to add in a well done counter and a job counter. You'll see what I mean. Now, two characters that I'm taking out that I'm not counting for this, it's just too hard to put them in, is Sokka and this dude, whatever the hell his name is, because I haven't watched Rebels yet. I have watched Clone Wars and I've seen young Ahsoka, but even so, these characters are made to look a little more realistic, not so much cartoony, and I really think these figures are done really well. It's just that whole situation. They don't look like they do in the cartoons because these are more realistic, which I like, and the figures are done really nicely, but yeah, they just cause problems. So they're not going to be in this. I don't know where to put them. I do really think these figures are really well done, though. So know that. Okay, so even picking runner-ups was difficult for me. But Rey, this is like the re-released Rey. You know, she first came out, her face paint wasn't very good. They re-released her, the face paint was better, and I think it's just much better. But I think the sculpt on her body is really good. It's really nice. It doesn't come with his lightsaber. I stuck this in her hand, so... But if it came with that lightsaber, it would have made it even a little better. But I think the sculpt on it's really well done. The body... I liked that they did not use cloth because the plastic shows the wrinkles that you need to see. I really like that. They got her hair down pretty well. There's only a few problems, like her skin color kind of blends into her hair. It's a little messed up. They could have done a little more shading on her outfit. But other than that, I think they did a pretty decent job. It also comes with BB-8, but I'm not really trying to consider that. That's not really fair. But yeah, I think they did a pretty good job on Rey. Another runner-up will be Captain Phasma. See, another thing hard about this is who the character is and how much you like the character kind of factors into this. And I'm trying not to let it, but it just kind of does. Now, Captain Phasma I thought was really awesome before the movie came out. Then when the movie came out, she's kind of not that awesome. Maybe she will be in the next one, episode 8, I don't know. But I think they did a really good job on this figure. The main thing is, usually I don't like cloth, but for this one I think maybe they could have done a cloth cape. And I think her suit could have been, her armor could have been a little more metallic looking. I mean, it is sort of metallic, but not as shiny as it is in a movie. But other than that, the sculpt on this is awesome. And Greedo. This figure, I was like, when I seen this, I'm like, man, they're making, like, he's not as obscure as some of the background characters, but he's still a little bit obscure. And they did a really good job on him. I was pretty impressed. Like, his head is really well done. I really like it. And the rest of his body, they also did a really nice job on. So I think they did really good job on this Greedo figure. Another runner-up is the Biker Scout. Now, he's another one that I'm like, you'll see later in the video why the Biker Scout's kind of hard to put in his own spot. He's really well done. Like, they really sculpted him nicely. But should I really count that he comes with a vehicle as part of the figure? Because if it was just him, he's alright, but he comes with a vehicle and that kind of gives him an unfair advantage. I don't know. But that's part of the reason this video is just difficult to do. But yeah, that's why I made him a runner-up, because I do think he's pretty well done, but I don't know if I would consider him in my top 10, because I'd be like thinking of his speeder bike as part of him, and I don't know, you know, that's why I'm not really including him. It's just not fair. But still, I do consider him a runner-up. Now, my number 10 pick would be the Sand Trooper. He's way back from Series 1 of the Black Series. I just really like the way they made like the sand look to him, the dirty sandy armor. I think they did a really nice job on that. He also comes with his gigantic backpack and his big shoulder pad. I don't know. The main thing is, like, I just really like the way they made the armor look all dirty and sandy. And the sculpt of the armor is really well done too, just like the regular Stormtrooper figures. So I'm pretty happy with this figure. I like it a lot. So that's why it's my number 10. Number 9 will be Kylo Ren. And this will be the re-released version, because when they re-released him, they gave him a better cloak that has better sculpting on it. And also, the cloth part here fits better than the original release of him. Now, the actual lightsaber here, I kind of modified, cut off the extra pieces, make it more like the exclusive Starkiller base Kylo Ren. I don't have that version, but I made this one look like that version, because that's how it's supposed to look. The one that actually comes with this figure, it just doesn't look right because it has some pieces connecting, and I don't like it. I'm not really counting that as part of this figure. I just think they did a really nice job. Because usually I don't like the cloth, but I think the cloth works on him very well. It looks really nice. The texture of it, I think it blends with this texture nicely. It looks really awesome. Really like when you pull the hood down. He's got a really nicely sculpted helmet, and it even looks like it's battle worn. Painted it really nicely. I like the detail on his arms. And also his lightsaber. I like the bumpiness, like the way it is in the movie. It's just a really well done figure. I like it a lot. The only thing that would have made it better is if he would have came with a maskless head. But he didn't. But that's okay, because I think this one's awesome. And that's why he's my number 9 pick. My number 8 pick is one that's kind of hard to put him in there, because he's R2-D2. He's a little tiny robot. He looks like a trash can. But he comes with so many accessories. You can pop these things open, pop these things out, switch them out, put all the stuff in. Even if you couldn't do that, they did a pretty nice job articulating him, because he's an awkward figure to make, and they did a good job at it. Twist his head, it could bring his center leg up, because sometimes he has 3 legs, sometimes he has 2, depending on the situation. And like I said, all the accessories comes with makes him a really awesome figure. And just by himself, they did a really good job painting him, sculpting him. Like, they could have just painted these little things on, but they didn't. They sculpted them on. That's really nice. So I think it's a really well done R2-D2 figure, and there's not a whole lot they could do to make this one better. So that's why he's my number 8 pick. My number 7 pick is Han Solo. And he's one it's hard to pick where he should be in this top 10. I do want him in my top 10, but it's hard to pick where he should go. Because I think they did a really good job on him. Like, overall, his whole body doesn't look exactly like Harrison Ford as Han Solo. But I think they did a really awesome job on the face. The outfit's pretty good. Like, he's got his vest as a separate piece. You can take that off, and then he can have his just his shirt underneath like he is in Return of the Jedi. And he's got his belt, which is a separate piece. This is really cool. His gun fits into the holster. I like the way they painted these little lines on his pants. Just articulated really nice. So there's a lot to like about this figure. I think they did a really awesome job on Harrison Ford as Han Solo. So that's why I picked him as my number 7. My number 6 pick would be Darth Maul. And he comes from the first series. The first series, I would say, is the best series. They just did such a good job in that first series. This Darth Maul figure is really awesome. My only real gripe with it is his spikes. I wish his spikes were a little sharper, and they would have painted them a little better, because you can see there's red going up onto his spikes. But they did such a really good job on his body. They add a little bit of cloth in there, just the right amount that I think works. And the sculpt of his cloth, I think, looks really good. And he's still really articulated. You can still do all kinds of awesome Darth Maul poses. I really like the paint on his face, the sculpt of his face. Other than I just wish his spikes were pointier. I like the different options you can have with his lightsaber. It could be 1, it could be 2. And you can also switch this out and put this piece onto his head if you want him to have his whole cloak on and everything. So I just think this is a really awesome figure. That's why he's my number 6. My number 5 is Luke Skywalker in X-Wing pilot outfit. This is also from the first series, which I think is the best series. And I think they did a really good job on this figure. I think this is the most accurate looking face for Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. He comes with a really well done helmet, which has like the see-through eye visor thingy. And they painted it really nice. It's real flexible to get onto his head. When you get on his head, it looks pretty good. He's really well articulated. And I like that these pieces are separate so you can move his legs around. And you can still use the articulation. I think they did a pretty good job of painting his suit. You can see there's actually shading in there, which they don't do on a lot of the later series. But I really like this figure. They did a really good job on this one. And that's why he's my number 5 pick. Number 4 is Jango Fett. Now this is another prequel trilogy figure that they just did such an awesome job on. The main thing that I like about this figure is his armor. I really like the silver and the scuffed up look to it. It looks really good. And his blasters, accessories. Just the shape of his body, the sculpt, just looks really spot on. And then he's got his helmet, which you can actually remove. His helmet looks fine as is, and you can remove his helmet, and then he's got his face under here, which also looks really good. It could have a little more shading on the skin, but it still looks like the actor who played him. And the helmet fits on nicely. Looks like it's the right size. He's got his backpack, holsters to put his handguns into. So there's just so much to like about this figure. I think this one's pretty much spot on. There's not a whole lot more they can do to make this one better. Even had the little dent in his head, his helmet. So that's why he's my number 4 pick. My number 3 pick is Boba Fett. He comes from Series 2, which I also think for the most part was pretty good. I think Leia was a little weak in that series, but everybody else in that series was pretty damn good. And Boba Fett was no exception. My biggest gripe with Boba Fett is these pockets here, pouches, hinder his leg from going forward, and that bothers me. But other than that, I think he's really well done. I think it's right to make this out of cloth. They could have done this a little better though, but it's still alright. But I really like the way they have his helmet painted to look worn. It really looks like his helmet and looks pretty much spot on. I like his armor. There's a little bit of a texture to it. Did a really good job of painting it. Really good job painting the rest of his outfit. He comes with some decent accessories too. Got his little symbols painted on there. His backpack. So I just think he's just a really awesome Black Series figure. Definitely one of the best. My number 2 pick is one that might bother people, especially because he's my number 2 out of all of the Black Series figures, is Bossk. Now, Bossk isn't a main character at all. He's basically just in a scene for like, what, 30 seconds at the most. But they did just such an awesome job at this figure. And that's one of the things is, some of my favorite things about the original Star Wars figures, the little ones, is all the obscure characters they made just look so awesome in figure form. And I think this one is one of them. He just looks really awesome as a figure. They did a really good job on him. And I like how all of his little tubes and straps are like separate pieces. They aren't just sculpted on, they're actually separate. And did a really good job of sculpting his face. You can even close and open his mouth. Now there is a little bit of sloppy paint there. You can see they painted his teeth and it bleeds down onto his face. On this side it's good though. But the sculpted paint on him overall I'd say is really good. Like there's just so much going on here. The scales all over his legs. It just looks so much like he did in the movie. And he's still really well articulated. So I don't know, I just think this is one of the best Black Series figures they have made. And that's why he's my number 2 pick. My number 1 pick is a really hard one. It's kind of a mixture of characters, but you'll see what I mean. It's the Force Awakens Stormtrooper figure. Now this figure I think is just amazing. I really like the white glossy armor they have for them. It just looks perfect. It makes me, every time I see one of these in a store, I'm like, oh, I want to buy another one. I don't, but still, they look perfect to me. The articulation is a little bit lacking when it comes to the hip area, but everything else is just awesome. I love the sculpt, I love the paint. It's just perfect for me. Now this, like I was saying, this one's a little hard because I also kind of got to include Finn in his costume. He's got the blood splattering on his helmet, or wiped on his helmet, which looks really cool, and you can also take his helmet off. And his face is under there, and underneath there, and it's sculpted really well. So I could almost pick him over the Stormtrooper, but that was just what's confusing. I don't want both of these on two separate spots. And also the Flame Trooper is basically just as good. They did a really good job on that. Even the Snow Trooper. They're just all really awesome. Even if you look at the original Stormtrooper, it's also done just as well. Although the original one, you can see his helmet is sort of a different color than his armor there, and that kind of bothers me. So I don't consider this done as well as that one. But yeah, I think this figure is pretty much perfect, and that's why I picked the Stormtrooper Force Awakens figure as my #1 pick. Well, that's my top 10 picks, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with it. They're going to say I have the wrong order, or they're going to say, why didn't you include this character, or whatever, or that character you picked sucked. But that's my personal picks. That's the ones I like. And if you have a different picks, let me know in the comments, whatever. But this is mine. So this is Mr. Evilcheese. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. I do really think these figures are really well done, though. But I think the sculpt on it's really well done. It's really well done. I really like it. He's really well done, pretty well done, but the sculpt of the armor is really well done, too. It's just a really well done figure. I think it's really well done. It comes with a really well done helmet. But other than that, I think he's really well done. Also done just as well. So I don't consider this done as well as that one. But other than that, I think they did a pretty decent job. And I think they did a pretty good job on Rey. I think they did a really good job on this figure. And they did a really good job on him. I was pretty impressed. Also did a really nice job on. So I think they did a really good job on this Greedo figure. I think they did a really nice job on that. I just think they did a really nice job. They did a pretty nice job articulating him. They did a good job at it. Just by himself, they did a really good job painting him. Because I think they did a really good job on him. But I think they did a really awesome job on a face figure. I think they did a really awesome job on Harrison Ford as Han Solo. They just did such a good job in that first series. They did such a really good job on his body. I think they did a really good job on this figure. I think they did a pretty good job of painting his suit. You can see they did a really good job on this one. They just did such an awesome job on. Did a really good job of painting it. Really good job painting the rest of his outfit. But they did just such an awesome job at this figure. They did a really good job on him. Really good job. They did a really good job on that. Ooh, I'm sorry, well done fans. You were crushed. They just couldn't get the job done. I'm gonna go beat my head off the wall.
Oh, damn it, man! You see them other pictures there? Why don't you click on one of them to see the video? Or you could subscribe, Nate. Ooh!